Hello. In this video we're going to learn how to file an HST return to the government. So as you know, when you're in business you are paying HST on items that you purchase for your company, and when you make sales you are collecting HST from your customers. So the idea is at the end of the quarter you then file a report and you submit or remit to the government all of the HST that you have collected minus any of the HST that you have paid. So anything that you've paid in HST in that particular reporting period will be deducted from what you've collected, and then the balance is what you would actually remit to the government. So we're going to walk through the steps. It's fairly simple with QuickBooks on how to file that HST return. I'm using a sample industry supply company to show you these steps. So with this particular company, they have collected HST and they've paid HST on items that they've purchased. So we're going to walk through the steps on filing that HST return. So from the home page, we're going to go to the vendor section at the top here, and there's a button here called Manage Sales Tax. So we're going to click on that. I have these messages that come up because of the file extension. So I'm just going to ignore those and we'll go on. So then what you'll see in the window is a couple of different government tax agencies. So the first thing you want to do is click on the one that you want to choose. So it's the Receiver General, and then you'll see that you've got some buttons over here. The windows aren't very wide, but this says you can hover your mouse over it and it says Pay Now. The other one is a summary report if you wanted to look at a report, or a detail report, or an exception report. You could look at them right now in terms of what's sitting in the payable to Receiver General account. So we're just going to click on the Pay. It's actually the Pay Now button. So we'll click on that Pay Now button, and a report is generated to the Receiver General as the tax agency. We want to use dates July 1st to September 30th, 2016, and that's actually what is selected here. So we want to always check our dates. So that's the reporting period. When you're working in a company, you would be filing your HST for a particular period of time. Depending on the type of company and the amount of money involved, you with your accountant and the government would determine how frequently you would file a return and submit that money. So this report is generated, and it gives you all of the different lines that are required by the government for the report. They then take that for their purposes to keep track of your company and what you're remitting. And so it lists all of the different items, so the amount of sales that your company has had, the HST that you have collected on those sales is listed, and then any adjustments, and then you get your total collected. And then there's a line for tax credits. That's usually HST that you have paid that gets deducted from what you've collected. And so that's deducted, and then the amount that's remaining is the net tax that's payable to the government. So QuickBooks keeps track of what you're collecting and what you're paying, puts it together in a report for this particular reporting period. You have to report in the time frame that has been set up with the government. And so then the balance shows at the bottom, and then from that point you can click the print return, which is a good idea. If you click on print, and of course you can print to an Adobe PDF, which is what I'm going to do, and then you can give it a file name. So it could be HST return for you could call it the last sales tax quarter, same as what's up there. or you could call it whatever you want. I'm just going to save it on my desktop. Click Save, and then you have a copy of that report before it actually gets filed. You can click on the Adobe icon on the taskbar and you can see the actual report there. It shows you the balance that is going to be remitted to the government. It's your GST return report or HST return report, and July through September, so you've got the dates as well. So that's saved. I'm going to close that, and so then the next step would be to file the return. In all likelihood, when you're working in a company, your QuickBooks will actually be set up online so that you can actually submit your report electronically. If not, you would mail it with a check, whatever system is set up in your company. So you owe sales tax of $11,823 to the Receiver General. Whether you pay now or pay later, QuickBooks creates a payable entry. So we need to choose the accounts payable account for this entry. And so we just have the one account, accounts payable. So we'll choose that, and then the tax payable would be the other entry in that journal entry. So if we choose pay later, then we would have to go to the vendor's menu later and pay bills, or we could pay it now. So we can choose either one. For now, let's just go pay later. QuickBooks processes the transaction for the filing period. You've completed the filing process. Remember to send a completed sales tax return and your payment to the tax agency. So you would, when you print the check, you would print off the report itself, submit it with the check. Just click OK. Takes you back to your window, and you can just close your window because you're all done and you're back now at the home page. So that's all there is to using the Manage Sales Tax button in order to file an HST tax return.